This is gonna be fun. I'm picking up at a pack rat facility, and I gotta get my truck into an area that's designed for cars. Ooh, it smells like soap in there. We're gonna have some fun with this one. Items are all the way forward on the trailer. Minimize my turns. All right, so see these containers here? They're gonna empty 4 of these and put them on my truck. Halloween goods. It's gonna be a fun, tight experience. That's what she said. All right, let's do this. Here's the problem with those rocks on the road that they use in Montana. You find them all over the truck now. All that stuff right there is concreted in there too. I mean, look, you can't. Okay, maybe it'll move up a little bit, but it is just covered in tar. But yeah, maybe take a pressure washer to it when I get home. Pink Kenworth over there. Interesting. There's that pink Kenworth. I love the two-tone red on there. That looks really good. Couple tour buses. Wonder who's in there. Wonder if anybody's famous.
Need to let go. Still wish you the best for tomorrow. Of what you felt, what I felt is totally different from each other. This delusion kept in our hearts. It's been a while since I could hold my head up high. Now I know I can't take it.
This is gonna be fun. And I got to back into there where that fence is and that gate's open. So I got to back into that street and then back around that tree and right into there. Hooray. Oh, I can't wait for this. Yep, this is gonna be fun. I already had to have one person move their car. This almost looks impossible. The way the trees are, and we don't know whose cars these two are. There's not that white Subaru, but that yellow Volkswagen and, well, another white Subaru right there on the left. Yeah, we don't know whose cars those are. I think they belong to somebody in the apartments. So we can't just go over and find who owns those cars. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be fun. Oh lady, come on, don't even. I don't know where you think you're going to go. You dumb, God damn it. I don't know where you're going, lady. I hope maybe there's somebody that lives in those apartments, maybe they'll look out the window and see how close I'm coming to ripping the fronts of their cars off. And then they'll come out and move them. It's a little unnerving. Alright. Make sure I'm not going to rip my bumper off on anything. Oh man, that tree scares me. I don't like coming up on the sidewalks like this. You gotta do it, you gotta do it. Alright, let's get out and look. Gold, baby, gold. How's it going, everybody? I am in Missoula still, getting unloaded right now. I have to call the broker. Of course, I tried to call the broker, but being the Labor Day it is, nobody answered to the broker. So, the problem here is, the sun's kind of bright. Problem here is, I got here, I'm at my end of the contract. I got here at about 9:20. My appointment was at 10. Well, that's when the broker told me I needed to be here. That's what was on the paperwork. That's what was on the rate con. I said I needed to be here at 10. And he was very adamant about that when I booked the load, which, it was no problem for me to get here because I was here by Saturday. But he said, now you're sure you can get there by 10 a.m., right? I said, yeah, I'll be there by Saturday. So, yeah, I'm sure I can get there by 10 a.m. So I get here at 9:20, roll up here. Took me forever to find anybody because they weren't expecting me. They came out and finally, after about a half an hour, well, not quite that much, maybe 20 minutes of knocking on windows and doors and things like that, because there were people here. I saw a couple cars in the parking lot. It's a little department store. Saw a couple cars in the parking lot and saw somebody's purse inside, so I knew there was somebody here. Finally, they came out and they said, "Well, you weren't supposed to be here until noon." That's when the crew's coming to unload the truck, because it's a little department store, so they don't even have a dock. And all this stuff is floor loaded. It's not palletized. So, they had to hire. It's an older couple, an elderly couple that own the store, I guess. And so they hired a pretty good sized crew to come in and unload the truck. And they didn't schedule that crew until noon. And they were under the impression that I wasn't going to be here until noon. So I'm going to try to call the broker and be compensated for the time that I'm wasting here. Which, I don't have a load booked yet, thankfully. But if I did, which the broker doesn't know that I don't have a load booked. But if I did have a load booked, this would be a serious inconvenience. So I'm going to have to call him and, so this is where you get a little bit of a, I'm learning anyways, this is where you get a little bit of power to negotiate a better rate. And this was already a fantastic rate, but my time is still valuable to me. And if I'm sitting here after if I've met the contract and got here early, and they were wrong about what time I had to be here, which costs me at least 2 hours of doing absolutely nothing while I wait for their crew to get here. That's not okay. That's not okay. And it's not, I don't want to say it's their fault here, but, you know, somebody dropped the ball somewhere, and I would like to try to get paid for that. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'll have to wait till tomorrow, I guess, to call the broker. I've called him a couple times, left a couple voicemails, and no one's called me back. But I think what I'm going to do from here is PC to Belgrade, which is over by Bozeman. It's only about 190 miles. And it's going to be a gamble, but there's a load that I emailed somebody on, and I haven't gotten a response back yet, and I'm guessing it's because it was their business email, so they probably aren't paying attention to it until tomorrow. But right now, I mean, I have tons of fuel left. I wouldn't even, this load I'm calling on, I could take it for next to nothing and make money on it, because I won't even have to put any fuel in the truck to run the whole load, including the deadhead to get there. But it's in Belgrade. It only weighs 3,600 pounds. And then it goes from Belgrade to Rapid City, South Dakota. Rapid City, Rapid Falls, I think Rapid City, South Dakota. And that's about 470 miles. So, if I could get that for even $900, that wouldn't be quite $2 a mile, but I wouldn't even have to take any fuel out of that, So, other than the 15% that I'd have to give, or that would be PDP's cut, everything would be all in my pocket, and it would be, as long as it delivers. See, here's the gamble. Everything on it, I could take it for, like I said, pretty low rate. But it doesn't say when it delivers. So, it's kind of surprising. You'll see some of these short hops like this, 470 miles or whatever, and then they might not deliver for like 3 days. And it's like, what the hell? You expect my trailer to be a storage container? I mean, that's just not going to cut it. So that's the only big gamble I'm worried. I mean, if I even had to, I would take it for, since I don't have to put any fuel in the truck for this load, I'd take it for even less than 9, maybe, because it would pretty much all be revenue for me, except for except for PDP's cut. But when you're talking $700, $800, $900, 15% really isn't that much money. So that'd be a pretty good revenue to add to what I've already made for this settlement. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a gamble. We're going to try it though, maybe, I guess, and I'll just have to, be up right when they open and call them right when they open, and say, hey, do this load. So really, probably the only way I won't take that load is if it pays absolute crap. Absolute crap. And or it doesn't deliver for 2 days. Like if they're wanting me to hold it in my trailer for 2 days, then yeah, no. But as long as it delivers within the next day or even the same day, which would be that'd be ideal right there. If it could deliver later tomorrow night, that'd be awesome. But probably can't. But so for 3,600 pounds, if I can get that one delivered, and if I can make decent money on it, and have it in there, like I said, or have lost my train of thought. As long as it delivers the next day, then I should be good to take it. So we'll see. But yeah, this place here, you saw in the video just how tight everything was, and that was fun. That was definitely tight. I was worried about this tree right here, that you saw me backing beside, because I wasn't sure where the thick branches came out at. I had to back up every few feet and then get out and look and make sure that my trailer doors weren't going to get ripped off. But luckily, the part of the tree that I brushed up against was just little twigs and leaves, so didn't do any damage or anything, but it was definitely a little sketchy. It's going to be kind of hard to get out too, because somebody else parked their damn car right where I had to have somebody move it earlier. And so now it's going to be hard to get out because I'll have to cut it between that car and the car that's on this side of the street. Turning right out of here is not an option. Oh man, but that's what you get for running the load boards on the spot market and everything. You just never know where you're going to end up. Could be someplace like this. Could be a grocery warehouse. All right, but we'll catch you guys in a little bit. Okay, so quick little update on my situation. So I went ahead and drove. Just got a text. Anyway, I went ahead and drove to Belgrade like I thought I would. First, I drove to back to the truck stop I was at before I, went to deliver on Monday. Drove there and got my paperwork in order, and thought about maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to gamble and drive 200 miles at the risk that I get there and then the load may not, or may already be booked somehow, or it may pay way lower than I was even willing to accept. So I went to the truck stop and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what, out of Missoula, like probably 70% of the loads that picked up out, around Missoula, I had to go back into Washington to pick up, and I really didn't want to go back into Washington. I didn't want to deal with the mountains again. I didn't want to, I didn't, especially because the majority of the loads coming out of there were going to be heavy. And the whole reason why I took this load, obviously besides the pay, but was the weight, because I knew the weight on that load was going to be super light and it was going to get me over the hills. So I didn't want to go back over the hills just to bring another heavy load back. So I'm like, you know what, screw it. I didn't want to sit there, so I'm like, let's just drive to Belgrade, and there's two truck stops right in Belgrade, a Flying J and a Pilot Town Pump. So I figured let's just go ahead and drive to Belgrade. I mean, there's two truck stops there. I'll get there and I'll call first thing in the morning. So got to the truck stop, had some dinner, went to bed, got up 7 o'clock Mountain Time, and which is the time that they're on at the broker. So I called the broker, and she apparently was dealing with another broker, something along those, or dealing with the she had to get permission from the shipper or somebody, I don't know. She had to email somebody, but like she asked me, she goes, well, what's the rate you can do it for? So I just threw out a number, and I told her, well, first off, she goes, well, first she called me back before I even gave her a rate, and she goes, well, actually that load isn't picking up until tomorrow. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It says here on the load board it picks up today. She goes, yeah, but apparently it's not going to be ready until tomorrow. She goes, so, but maybe throw a rate out and see if they'll accept it. I said, okay. I said, well, simply because I was going by the load board and I'm wasting a day now. I'll take it if I can get it for $1,200, which is a lot of money for a 3,600 pound load that's going 470 miles. So I knew that may have been a little far-fetched, but I figured, what the hell, maybe they'll come back, with another offer. So she emails the lady, and the whole time, I figure, I'll be fair. I won't even call on another load right now. She's putting in the legwork and trying to get this load for me, So I'm like, what? It was like there were like two other loads that looked identical, but they were from different brokers. So I'm like, I could call on those. One of them was a 12,000 pound load that picked up in the same place, picked up in the same town anyway, going again to the same town. I'm assuming they were all going to the same place because, this is insulation foam that I'm picking up now. The other one was building panels, But anyway, so I decided to go ahead and wait. Well, I waited for 30 minutes, and she calls me back, and she goes, "Yeah, they had someone that just went ahead and called and offered a little lower than you, and they don't have to wait around because they're not sitting in Belgrade." I'm like, "You gotta be kidding!" So they gave that person the load, and then there was, like I said, there were a couple others on there just like it. So I called them, and they were all booked already. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" I'm like, I'm like, please don't tell me I just drove all this way for nothing, to Deadhead, because there's not a whole lot of stuff coming out of this area. So I'm like, okay. So right before I gave up on that one, another one popped up instantly. Like, it just popped up. It had zero, time. Like, it was brand new that just popped up. I'm like, well, maybe this one's not booked then. So I called it, and sure enough, it hadn't been booked yet. And she was offering 1,100 on it. And I said, what's the absolute best you can do on this load? And she came up $25, but $25 is not that bad. So, $25, when you think about it, it adds a little bit, it adds a few more pennies to the mile, So, I said, okay, I'll go ahead and take it for that. So now I'm getting loaded, with that load, a day later than I wanted to be. So I sat all day yesterday, which really was a bummer. But so I got this load, 3,600 pounds, and it's going 470 miles, which it's funny because they have it as 525 miles, because apparently they take it so that it goes 90 all the way, because like the best way to go in this area, to go from where I'm at to go to Rapid City is right after Billings if you're going east. Right after Billings, you hop on 212, and then 212 will just it's a direct shortcut, and it actually saves you about 60 miles. And it's not slow. The speed limit, it's a 2-lane road, but the speed limit's, anywhere from 60 to 70 miles an hour, even for trucks. So, and it's gorgeous scenery. So I'm at, so I didn't tell him. I didn't tell her. Well, it's actually only 470 miles, because normally a broker will put a lower mile on there, than what the distance actually is. But they overshot. So so I'm like, yeah. So 470 mile load, 3,600 pounds, for 1125. So that's not bad. My wife keeps texting me, and I can't text her back when I'm recording. So I'm going to do that one, and then I already booked another load right after that picks up. Rapid City is also dry as hell. So I booked a load in Miller, South Dakota, that's going to Omaha. And the only reason I did that, it's a heavy load, 44,000 pounds. So it's going to be close on scale. But it's only a 365 mile drive, but I have to deadhead 240 miles to get it, which really sucks. But it's going to Omaha, and Omaha's not very far from Des Moines, Iowa, and that little stretch right there between Omaha and Des Moines is a pretty decent rate right now. They're really paying well. So I'm gonna go ahead. That's the only reason I did it, because there's light loads, coming out. Like, there's loads going to Florida right now, like Lakeland, Florida. They're picking up today, but maybe on Friday they'll be picking up some on Friday too. But they are light. They're like 24,000 pounds, and they're going to Lakeland, which is only 1,200 or so miles from the Omaha area, and they're paying $3,700. So there's some really good rates with light loads right now coming out of there. So I figured, what the hell, I'll go ahead and jump down there. This will pay for my fuel to get down there, and then a few extra bucks. But it'll be better than driving down there for free, for nothing. And losing money on fuel. I just want to get out. I just want to get out of this area. That's all there is to it. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and hopefully it'll pick up after that. I'd like to try to, I don't really want to go to Florida right now. I'd rather go home, at least I'd rather go buy the house. You know, I haven't been home for 2 weeks, so I'd like to go at least buy the house and you know, even if it's just to take a 10, you know, just to see the family a little bit. So if I can get a load going, you know, even to like Chicago, and then pick up a load from Chicago and go, you know, through Ohio and stop by the house or something like that, then that'd be ideal. But anyways, this is where I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog, I guess. I'm editing it right now, and this is kind of a long vlog already. So y'all have a good one out there. Be safe. Hope you guys are making some money. We'll talk at you guys all later. Bye.